All right, hi everybody. David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back for another Symphonina Foundation podcast. And I am joined today by composer and Grammy-nominated conductor Michael Shapiro. Michael, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It's wonderful to be with you, David.
It's wonderful to be here with you, as we've been discussing before we got started. But you have a new tune out. Tune, is that the right word? A new orchestral composition that's going to be submitted for Best Orchestral Performance in this year's Grammy season, called Zoomies. And as a fellow dog owner, I know exactly what you mean. But why don't you clue us all in on Zoomies, the origin of it, and how you got to work with the Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra to have it recorded?
Yes, well, let me start with Zoomies. I was a cat guy for years.
Okay.
Raising my four children, we had two cats. So I didn't know anything about dogs, really. I mean, other people had dogs. But then my stepson Reese and my son Nathaniel got dogs as puppies. And I've been taking care of them as any good grandfather would take care
Exactly.
of his granddogs. And suddenly I became enamored of the mind of dog and understanding about them, you know. Once you feed them and you take them outside and you do all that walking and you learn about them and you see them. And then I learned from my children about the word zoomies, that they all have zoomies when they're little, and some of them have it throughout their lives.
They do. They do. Ours is 6, so yes, they still do.
Where they love to run around, they look at you, they stop, they jump on the sofa, they jump off the sofa, they hit the wall, they come back at you, they stare at you again, they run out of the room, they come back again.
Yep.
But I learned something recently. Did you know that rabbits have this as well?
No. Okay. All right.
And it's not called zoomies.
Wow.
It's called binkies.
Binkies.
I
Okay.
never knew this, but I was writing my third symphony at the time. I'm now finishing my fourth symphony. It's about a
Okay.
year ago.
Okay.
And March said to me, my lady March, she says, "Why don't you write a piece
Yes,
for our
indeed.
granddad?"
Yeah.
And I have a song which I'd been singing to Callie, Reese's dog, and I had made up the song, which made its way into the finale of Zoomies. So I wrote a 5-minute piece. This past season, Matthew Kraemer and the Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra asked me to be composer in residence, which I was.
Ah, very
And
nice. Okay.
they have done Frankenstein a few years ago as well, and which was a massive success, sellout for them.
Hmm.
So I proposed to Matthew and to the orchestra that they perform, premiere, and record Zoomies and At the Shore of the Sea, my new violin concerto, which I wrote for Tim Fain, which is going to come out in about a month
Okay.
on all the platforms.
When it
It's a
does, let
full,
us know. We'll be more than happy to help let everybody else know that too.
well, thank you. But right now we have a 5-minute piece, which is orchestrated in two ways. There's a full instrumental orchestration,
Hmm.
which is available on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music and Prime Music and all those places, Deezer. But there is also a wind ensemble version,
Uh-huh.
which was premiered only a few days after the premiere of the orchestral performance by Texas Tech Wind Ensemble, Sarah McCoy, conductor.
Okay.
Brilliant performance, projecting pictures of doggies all over the place. So we
Okay.
find, and you listen to the piece, I can give it away now, but the piece does not end in a chord.
No, it doesn't. If you
It
stick to
ends
the
in
end of the
a,
podcast, you'll hear how it ends. But go ahead, Michael.
all right, well,
Yeah.
I can tell
Yeah,
everybody.
you can. It's your piece.
It ends in a kennel bark.
Yes, it
The
does.
entire ensemble barks alligatorically. It's the only piece in the orchestral literature that ends with a kennel bark. And if you have a dog, you're going to understand this piece right away because it captures what they do.
It does. I must say too, the performance is excellent and
Oh,
certainly
it
worthy
really
of
is.
consideration for best orchestral performance. And the recording is also excellent. Do you want to make some mentions of who was involved with the recording, engineering, the
Yes,
mixing,
quite.
mastering?
Yes, that is completely Brian Loesch, who is a wonderful engineer and mastering expert.
Hmm.
He does it all. His final edits, which he masters, just sparkle. And this recording is excellent. Matthew Kraemer is a great maestro and conducted the orchestra perfectly. And we did it in a performance and then in a post. The way you do these things these days often, or at least here in the States, I do it differently when I conduct the Royal Philharmonic, but we do it performance, and then there's what we call a half hour post performance, you know,
Hmm.
run through for the recording engineer,
Yeah.
Brian Bush. And we did that, and that performance after that run through was spotless, and that's what's on the disc.
Yeah. Yeah. And what kind of room is it recorded in? It's a very present recording, which I definitely
Concert
like.
hall.
It's in a
Concert
concert
hall.
hall. Okay. Hmm.
It's in the Schrott Performing Arts Center at Butler, and it just beautiful, beautiful job.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Matthew's a tremendously skilled conductor with great depth of knowledge and a wonderful rhythmic sense. The orchestra's first rate; it's all professional.
Yeah.
So the trumpets could do all those licks. The the percussion players could have wonderful bass drum hits, and I'm delighted by the performance. And then the performance is done by the wind ensemble in Texas Tech. Sarah McCoy, outstanding. It's going to be done by other wind ensembles throughout the country, including Bruce Moss's Wheaton Municipal Band is going to do it. It's going to be done at the University of Memphis under Albert Wynn, and other places. Hopefully, it'll take off. And then there's my monster.
Yeah, it's their Frankenstein is coming up. Before we get to Frankenstein, I want to ask you a question as you were talking about other conductors, and you're a great conductor yourself, of course. Do you find yourself picking up things from other conductors to, I don't want to maybe improve your own conducting or change your conducting or
Oh,
just
sure.
interpret things? How do you go about listening to what other conductors are doing? And maybe we can take some advice from you as performers or conductors or whatever
Yes.
about what we can be
Yes.
looking at to others to do the same.
Well, the great news about my conducting these days is that I conduct the great orchestras of the world. I have a regular relationship with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in London, so much so that I've done 4 recordings with them so far, one of whom was Grammy nominated, as you mentioned.
Right. Mythologies too. Yeah.
Donegay's Mythologist too.
Yep.
But also I've done 2 recordings of my own music with Stathis Karapanos doing my flute concerto, Mia Persson, the great soprano, recording my songs and an aria for my new opera, The Slave. And recently, a wonderful recording session with the full orchestra of the music of Jan Swafford, the great biographer.
Okay.
But, I've had the great joy and I've just been engaged by the Nashville Symphony, which I'm going to conduct. And I'm also conducting the Paducah Symphony, which is a very good orchestra composed of players from St. Louis and Memphis and Nashville. It's
That's
a first
coming up
rate
in
orchestra.
October, as I saw on your calendar.
Yes, I have 5 concerts in October.
Yeah.
But that concert with I'm doing 2 concerts with Paducah, but the first one is Beethoven and Rachmaninoff. The
Yeah.
Beethoven
Piano
is
concerto, right?
the third piano concerto with
Yes. Okay.
Antonio Di Cristofano, a wonderful, wonderful Italian-based pianist, and then the symphonic dances of Rachmaninoff.
Okay.
Now, you ask about conducting and
Yes.
learning things.
Yes.
Look, I've spent my entire life learning about what people do, what works, what doesn't, and also just doing it myself. I've done the standard rep for years, Mozart symphonies, Beethoven symphonies, Haydn, Schubert, Schumann, Brahms, Ives,
Tchaikovsky too. I'm
Strauss,
sure of all of them. Yes. Right.
Tchaikovsky, and
Yeah.
concerti, right and left, Mendelssohn,
Yeah.
Aaron Copland, who I knew, who was a mentor, many people. But here's the thing. I had 2 conducting teachers, one of whom was Carl Bamberger at Mannes. I was in the same class as Myung-Won Chun, who's now got La Scala, and David Stahl, of blessed memory, who was in Charleston, which I've conducted, standard rep. But here's the thing. My second teacher, Bamberger, taught beauty and symbolism and getting under the notes and understanding that sort of thing. But he wasn't a technical guy. The technical guy in my training was at Bard when I studied with Harold Farberman, who was all about hand position and all about stroking and wrist versus arm
Mm.
and all that kind of stuff. Very, very technical. He was originally a Boston Symphony Orchestra percussionist, great rhythmic sense, and a
Okay.
composer.
Okay.
And Harold and I became very close. But the thing that he didn't teach was, what did the music mean? What were we trying to do? Harold, though, said one thing that was very important. The score tells you what to do. Composer talking in Harold's case. The score tells you what to do, not you tell the score. Important thing to remember. So when we're looking at a Symphonina piece
Hmm.
or anything else, what is the composer doing in that very moment, bar by bar and over a period of time, and both short and long? How do you impart that to, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra or the Nashville Symphony or Paducah Symphony?
Or a high school orchestra for that matter, any orchestra, really.
Anybody.
Yeah.
I had 16 years of the Chappaqua Orchestra, which is a semi-pro orchestra. We had to show a lot.
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't stop. The Royal Philharmonic Orchestra is one of the greatest orchestras in the world. There's no question about it. And when you're in front of them, if they have never seen a piece before, a composer, you have to show them what is happening in that bar, in that phrase, and.
Okay.
So there's a lot to do. But what it is specificity. So you say, what do I get from conductors? Well, I watch them all. And I listen to them all.
Hmm.
So, for example, I'm studying very hard the Rachmaninoff symphonic dances. And I've listened to a lot of recordings. I will say that most conductors don't get it.
Interesting. Okay.
But Kirill Petrenko with Berlin does in a magnificent way. And I saw Antonio Papano's video recording last night, which was excellent.
Hmm.
Karina Kanolakis' recording is excellent. So I listen to these things. I try to hear it.
Hmm.
But then I have to say to myself, what am I getting from this Rachmaninoff? Now, I have a long personal relationship with the music of Rachmaninoff. I did not know him. He died, as you know, before I was born. But I knew people who knew him. His grave is located very close to us. I've been there
Hmm.
in Valhalla. I feel very close to him, as also the son and grandson of people from the Ukraine. And this is something that is very, very personal for me, and
Yeah.
I adore what he was trying to impart. But if you look at that piece, for example, it's only Opus 45. He didn't write very much music. How can I depict what he's doing, writing this piece in Centerport, Long Island, at an estate he was staying at after playing 40 concerts in 1940, dedicating it to Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra? But what's he trying to impart? And this is the thing that as a composer who's also studied conducting with people like Bombega and Harold Farberman, how can I impart the message? It's also true of Beethoven, for example.
Before you go there, let me ask a question because I'll lose it otherwise. I think this is a very
Go,
important question,
go.
or it could be totally useless, but I think it's important. What you know so much about each of the lives of the people we're talking about as we're
Yes.
going, obviously. So my question is twofold. Of what importance is that in your interpretation of the music that someone has written while they're staying at someone's house after doing something else, whatever it might be, right? Whatever is going on in their life at that time. And then also, do you, if it's a piano concerto or some kind of concerto that has a solo featured artist, do you communicate with that featured artist ahead of time to say, this is how I'm interpreting it, this is how do you interpret it, anything like this? Is there any connection between you two before the performance, or is it all done in the rehearsal?
It's done before.
Okay.
Staying with Antonio and I have had conversations
Yeah,
with
I would
him.
imagine you'd have to, right?
Oh, but he's a real gem, and he's a pro, and it's not like I'm getting somebody who's never lived. He's a man in his 60s, probably your contemporary,
Yeah.
and we're gonna we'll talk. But I told him, and the thing that he loved was that I'm going to breathe with him. He's the soloist. I'm, but then he asked me, "Are you conducting the C minor third piano concerto in four or in two?" I said, "No, I can speak in Italian because he's Italian." I said, "In two." He said, "Of course." And we talked about the
Okay.
sforzati. Beethoven doesn't put in tenuto markings. He puts in sforzati, SF.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a trained musician of many years, right? So how do you, the sforzati is kind of a tenuto, a push, a hold,
Okay.
kind of a pushing down on pressure. It's not da, it's da. And you have to understand that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but here goes to your question. How do you impart that to the oboe player, to the flute player? What are you doing?
Right.
So you may be beating time, but beating time is not sufficient. Every beat's got to mean something. So when you go to sforzato, you're going to, go down with the beat, but then you're going to push down a little bit. So they feel it. It's not necessarily something that is of a different dynamic. Another thing I've been thinking about as a conductor is how do you impart dynamics to an orchestra?
Mm-hmm.
Some people say you put up your hand if you want soft. If you want full, you reach with dynamic strength in your left hand.
Mm.
But there's a wonderful depiction recently by a friend of mine who does a lot of film music, and he was saying that bigger motions can indicate forte, and smaller motions can indicate softness. If you follow that very simple advice, it works.
I
So
imagine
I
it would.
picked
Yeah.
up, yeah, well, I always did it kind of because as a musician, it was coming from my breath, and I did it routinely, but
Right.
thinking about it more.
Yeah.
So from him, I got this idea of, and the other thing that I got recently was, over the years, was looking into Piemonte's teachings. And he talked about a very strong and clear downbeat. When I saw it recently, I'm friendly with Gustavo Dudamel, and
Mm-hmm.
Gustavo conducted, I've been at the Philharmonic for him, and also when he conducted LA, but he has a razor sharp downbeat. There's no question where the downbeat starts with Gustavo.
Mm-hmm.
Some conductors, I saw one conductor who's a friend of mine, I won't mention his name because I wasn't happy with what he did in the Rachmaninoff, was all he's doing is beating big. There's no differentiation.
Mm.
So again, Harold Farman says, what does the score tell you to do? We're all physically different. You're physically different than me. I'm physically different than you. I'm physically different than Leopold Stokowski, who I saw 6 times conduct and looked at what he did. I looked at Lenny. Lenny was conducting completely from the gut all the time. I've only seen Toscanini on video, but you can see the incredible skill with the hand and the twisting and the curving and so forth, which he probably got a lot from being a cellist. Montu was a violist, but he talks about a very strong downbeat,
Mm-hmm.
even in soft parts. Now, you got to be careful of not going too much because it can produce too much sound. But if it's smaller, I've watched Karajan a great deal to see what he did. Karajan did have something, though, which a lot of conductors don't have. He had the Berlin Philharmonic. In the words of my friend uh, Galway, who says, "Oh, we had the Cadillac of orchestras." Anybody can drive a Cadillac, but get into a jalopy and see how well you do.
Right. Sure.
So, Jimmy said that, and it's really true that with certain orchestras, you don't have to do too much, but you have to do something.
I
So
was
when
going to
I
ask
work
you how
with
you approach different orchestras, so this is another good segue question for you.
very different,
Yeah, I
very
was
different.
imagine so.
Yeah, well, when I conducted for years the Chappaqua Orchestra, which started as a semi-pro and then got even more pro
Hmm.
with more salaries, etc. I had to show a lot, um, and it tenses up the conductor somewhat. So you have to be careful about being too tense because it's like playing golf. You can't be tense when you're playing golf.
Or an instrument, for that matter, Michael. You can't be too tense playing your instrument either.
Look at your
You won't
saxes.
get what
Yeah,
you want. Yeah.
yeah. By the way, I'm writing a sax concerto for Tim McAllister. So,
Wonderful. Okay.
and my dad was an alto sax player.
That's great.
The fir-
I had read that he was a clarinet player, but maybe he was both.
both,
Yes.
both. And thank you for remembering. And the first time I heard a jazz saxophone,
Uh-huh.
which Tim McAllister's jumping up and down about, and now you will, was Coleman Hawkins
Okay.
live,
Okay.
which I'll never forget. That sound. So I'm writing a tenor sax concerto for him.
Excellent.
Not soprano, no alto,
We
not
need
baritone.
more sax of all kind concertos. Let me ask you a question though on that. I mean, we're wandering around here. It's totally fine.
It's okay.
So your dad, a wind player, did he also play piano?
No.
Then you went to piano though, young. Did you also go to clarinet and wind instruments,
Yes.
or
Yeah. I
what?
started
What
with
did you do?
clarinet and French horn and accordion, and then
Of
at
course,
the
why
same
not?
time,
Right, that's
well,
a combo
it's
everybody
called
chooses. That's exactly right.
it's called if you play accordion, in my dad's view, in those years, you could like play in the Catskills, which is not true even then.
Yeah,
But I studied, Lady of Spain, I adore you.
of course. Right.
I did all that stuff. But I studied, the well-tempered clavier with Consuelo Elsa Clark, my wonderful teacher, and
But
they
eventually
taught me.
you went more to the piano, if I
Yeah,
got
I'm
it
a
correct.
pianist,
Yeah.
and I've accompanied singers all my life
Yeah.
as a vocal coach, as an opera coach at the Zurich Opera, and also, with singers like recent recordings with Ariadne Greif, who recorded my songs with voice and piano, but also with Mia Persson when we were working, preparing for the album she did. I said album, that's old school, but from the recording she did
Hmm.
of my vocal music, which is an amazing recording. I worked with her on piano at her house, at her sister's town. Yeah, so if I practice, I mean, with Antonio coming up, I may do two pianos with him.
Yeah. Well, that must be quite a treat for you.
Oh, well, he's such a primo,
Yeah.
great player. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's going to be real chamber music, But also, the other thing that's been in my head recently,
Hmm.
David, is why do we do this? I understand with Rachmaninoff, he had to earn a living for the family, which he earned a huge living when he became a superstar. But there were many, many years he didn't write music.
Okay.
I mean, I have 125 pieces. He
Hmm.
had 45.
Right.
He had to play. He was phenomenal, one of the greatest pianists of any time,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That huge body with those massive hands. And he was a very fine conductor. He conducted at the Mariinsky Opera. He conducted the Philadelphia Orchestra and great recordings. He was offered the Boston Symphony, which he turned down.
Hmm.
You know, but why did he write this piece? Why did he write that piece? And why do any of us write anything? I've said to students, I have private students, and I've said to them, we're smart people. We could be at Goldman Sachs with a house on the beach in Southampton that only cost us $11 million, Instead of that,
Instead of that,
we write symphonies or
that's
symphoninas.
what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And why do we do it? And I have to answer you, the reason we do it is because we have to.
I feel that way, Michael. Yeah.
Of
Really.
course, you do. You're not composing or
Michael,
playing.
I don't mean to interrupt your story, but it's so true because,
You know,
like, those who know the inspiration for the Symphonina concept itself. I was sitting in the symphony audience 8 years ago, and I'm looking around. I'm 54. I'm the youngest person in the room. I'm like, this is not acceptable. So the rest of it is I have to, right? I mean, that's it.
you have
There's no choice. I have to.
Now, I have not written any symphoninas, but I'm now finishing my fourth symphony.
Yeah,
Each of these pieces is between 30 and 40 minutes.
yeah.
And I recorded the second symphony with the City of Birmingham Symphony. And the third and fourth symphonies I'll be recording with some orchestra. I'm also part of the thing about writing concerti. I have 8 concertis. Concerti is that you have to wait sometimes years for it to get performed and
I bet it.
recorded.
Yeah, I bet you want the right person to do it too if you're
Yeah,
doing
well,
that.
I wrote it for Tim because he's recorded
Then you have
other
to wait for
pieces.
Tim. That's it. That's
And
whenever he can get you in.
something called COVID,
Yes, all that too.
composer in residence.
Yes.
But I have a piece that I wrote for cello and orchestra
Hmm.
called The World to Come. Now, here's the thing that's all about
I hope
where
it's
we
not in
are.
a minor key too. Please tell me it's positive.
It's everywhere.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
It's a wonderful piece. So I'm hoping that a major conductor, major performer will do it next year,
Okay.
or 27, 28 rather,
Yep.
4 years after it was written. And, the great thing about Tim McAllister is that we're already working on various opportunities and people who want to commission and so forth,
Yeah.
because he's so famous and he's a brilliant, brilliant, wonderful human being. So that's a whole different story. But then you look at some pieces and you say, oh my God, I wrote a ballet and I didn't even realize it.
Mm.
My Archangel Piano Concerto, which is derived from Paradise Lost of Milton,
Hmm.
is all about the war between good and evil before the world was created, between Satan and the Archangel. Corps de Ballet, the second half of the piece of my piano concerto, which I recorded with the BBC, Stephen Beck playing piano, is Adam and Eve and Eden. This gorgeous love between these two people. And then suddenly the serpent slides across the stage. So it's going to be made into a ballet a year after next by a major ballet company. So you don't know how these things will
You
happen.
don't. You don't know how things are going to evolve, do
Yeah,
you?
and I'm working right now on working with an animation crew on doing the animation of wonderful texts and doing several film scores.
Okay.
The great news is I can write these things, and then I have a copyist, and then
Yeah.
I can go conduct in Vienna, Latvia, Prague.
And you enjoy traveling, obviously.
Well, I love it. Plus, I speak German, Italian, and French, so
There
it's
you go.
easy.
That's easy. Yeah.
But getting back to what you're saying,
Yeah.
watching conductors sing what they do, I always learn. But let me just talk about one thing, you as a
Sure.
composer and
I'll say this. Time has a way of getting away from us, and it's been great. But we're gonna wrap up here pretty soon. But go right ahead.
let me just talk about one
Yeah.
thing which is
Please do.
very much in my mind. When Beethoven wrote the Eroica Symphony, he thought
Hmm.
he was writing a piece for Napoleon.
Okay.
And we know what happened when he heard that Napoleon was crowned emperor, or crowned himself
Crowned
emperor.
himself. Yes. Exactly.
That the Bonaparte dedication on the front page of the Eroica was crossed out with a sharp pencil eraser or whatever. You can see the slashing marks. But the Eroica is all about what Beethoven thought was this liberation. So I believe that in a lot of music, the reason, not only vocal music, but absolute music, there's often an underlying something. Listen, my second, third, and fourth symphonies are absolute music, but there's something generating them. Is it visual? Is it my view of the world at that moment? Is it my view of going into concert halls, dealing with what you're talking about? What's the meaning of a symphonina that you've written, or
Yeah.
ones that have won your competitions? Why did people do them? What drew them to do them?
Yeah.
Why aren't they working at Goldman Sachs?
Right.
Well, they write a piece for their dogs.
Or they write a piece for dog, which we're going to listen to on the way out here, Michael. Michael, it's been great. I mean, this part one of 10 we could do. But if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Info at michaelshapiro.com. Also, michaelshapiro.com. Look at the website. And it's got all my activities. And again, my Frankenstein score is going to have its 85th performance.
It's incredible.
I get unsolicited requests. But it's going to a higher and higher level as far as the
You're back
kinds
with
of
the Royal Philharmonic with that too, right?
yeah, 2 concerts at Cardigan Hall
Yeah, yeah.
at their hall, and also 2 days later at Nashville,
Okay.
and then 4 days after that with Paducah.
You're going all over the place.
Yeah, well, it's got 11 performances this season. It had 15 last season.
Yeah.
All my music is published by Universal Edition in Vienna, Universal Edition Wien, and they're going to be doing a major push soon about my work, which will be publicized. So
All right.
it's all good. Keep your head down, right?
Yes, and love your dogs.
Yeah, because that's reality, man.
And they
Everything
love you
else
back.
is.
That's another good reason.
They do. They
Yep.
want to take care of you.
That's
They
it.
don't want to see you in any way but being daddy or granddaddy.
We're going to listen to some more of Zoomies on the way out here. And Michael, if there's anything we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to be of help to you, just let us know.
Well, vote for the Grammy. This is Zoomies.
Shameless
And
plug.
this is a crossover. This is a cross. I'm not in the classical division for this piece because it's been picked up by 10 playlists. All of them crossover. So it's going against people who write screenplays, screen music, other people, because it's really Zoomies is not classical piece like when you were in the concert hall at 54.
Yeah.
It's not. It has no pomposity to it at all.
Not at all.
It's a crossover piece
Absolutely.
that is really depicting our beloved canines.
Absolutely. We wish you the best, Michael.
Thank you so much. Be well.